You're listening to the Courtyard Club Call by the Scarf Bagara War, part of the Talksport fan network, by county fans, for county fans.
Santo's on fire! Your defence is terrified! Santo's on fire! Your defence is terrified! Santo's on fire! Woo!
He certainly was, wasn't he? Fantastic performance. That's what I'm labelling that game as, especially from Tanto. Amazing 1-0 win against Bolton away. Really sticks them back down there and keeps us up there. I'm Jimmy Harmer, part of the Scarf Bagara War team, and we are going to be talking about the Bolton game today. I'm joined by Dan Culverwell. Hi, Dan. Nice to have you on.
Evening again. Just finished watching Newcastle win a trophy, so we can all say that we've actually seen something in our lifetime.
A generational thing, or double or triple generational thing. I think that is. Steve, thanks for joining us again. You're at the game as well.
Yeah, absolutely. What a time to be a county fan, eh?
Yeah. What a time to be a Newcastle fan if you're Dan. And let's just say, sorry, Dave. I believe you were down in London at Wembley, so commiserations to you being a Liverpool fan. But if I'm honest, I don't really like Liverpool, so I'm more than happy for the Geordies to win. Anyway, less of that, more about county. Dan, do you want to take us through the team for us?
Yeah, so I'm trying to think what the change was. Obviously, Wootton went out. Our Icelandic little superstar came in, Andrisson. Same again, a bit of a box midfield with Corey Addai in goal, a back four of Rydell, Ethan Pye, Brad Hills and Kyle Noyle. Obviously, we all heard the sad news that Macca will be out for the rest of the season. That was confirmed by Sam Byrne in his post-match snippets after the game on Saturday. Midfield two, first midfield two were Norwood and Bates. Then you had Camps and Collar just in front of them and maybe a little bit more to the wide, with Tanto and Andresen up front. I don't know about you guys, something I did notice a lot that during that first half that Tanto and Andresen was going very sort of wide. It created a lot of space for Camps and Collar to sort of like burst through that centre. And like you say, it was a very sort of fluid movement formation, I thought, that first half.
Well, Dave has discussed sort of in his pre-match that Bolton have quite a fluid formation themselves. I believe under the previous manager, they were very, very rigid, 3-5-2, I think it was. And yeah, so they've gone very fluid as well. So maybe we decided to sort of match that up. And when you've got those four midfields, we've discussed it before, Camps, Collar, Norwood and Bate, you want to try and get them all in the team. So I understand why I did that. Any surprises on the lineup for you, Steve? Obviously, Benno was there, wasn't he?
I mean, for me, I was surprised at the lineup and who started. I didn't expect Benno to start, particularly with Charlie's kind of post-match comments recently saying he's not ready. So I was surprised to see him get a start. I'm not sure that was the right thing to do, but well, we won the game, so it doesn't really matter. But I really expect to see a 3-5-2, to be honest. I thought he'd try and match them. I thought we'd see Connolly back introduced. I didn't know Macca was injured, so I thought we might see Rydell and Macca as the wing backs. So to see Rydell as the left back and a back four surprised me as well. I kind of thought if he was going to go with a back four, it'd be Torre from a defensive point of view. So although I think I got 9 out of 11, I was way off with what I was expecting. So yeah, total shock.
Yeah, I got 9 out of 11 as well. I am exactly the same as you, Steve, in that I was not seeing Benno starting. And I think with hindsight, yeah, Wootton probably is the battering ram to start and then bring Benno on when the defence is a little bit softened up, maybe.
Yeah. Maybe answered a few critics, though, because there's so many people on social media saying, start Benno, start Brecky. And, you know, it didn't feel like it was the right thing to do. And I don't think it was the right thing to do. So maybe all the everyone on social media might now give it a second thought.
I mean, let's face it, he had a chance as well, didn't he? I mean, if we start talking about that first half, and I mean, although it obviously Tanto's going to be remembered for that amazing goal in the second half, which we'll come on to, he did amazing work again, trying to set Benno up. So obviously we did that he set him up in the, remind me somebody, home game.
It was the Blackpool game.
It was the Blackpool game.
Time.
Yeah. So again, Tanto got a ball across to Benno, and he was very close, wasn't he? The keeper did really well. In fact, their keeper, although he was tiny, he was very quick, wasn't he? Very quick thinking, quick off his line, and he smothered that chance that Benno had. And yeah, it was great work from Tanto. And I mean, as you say, Steve, he that was pretty much his only chance, wasn't it?
Yeah, and at the time, I thought he should have probably done better with it. But then since I've watched it back, and like you said, the keeper does get out very quickly. So was it half chance? I'm not sure. It was a chance anyway.
How does he find that space again, though? Because like we talked about it on the Courtyard Club call when he scored against Blackpool, and we were like, how on earth has he ended up with all that space?
But yeah, his movement's superb,
isn't he?
Yeah.
It's a skill, like I say, the skill of basically standing still at times, let your defender move away from you. He occupies space really, really well. And yes, the goalkeeper's come out to him very quickly, but at least he's got his shot away. We've seen plenty of players that wouldn't even got a shot away. The goalkeeper would have, fumbled it off, and it'd have ended up hitting his shins and going away. He's got his shot away. He takes that same chance again and he puts it underneath the goalkeeper, and it's a goal. So yeah, he's a little bit unfortunate, but he's, like I say, he's not. I'm not going to get upset about him. He's come on massively, leaps and bounds, and he's not going to be available next week. Dave Challin's confirmed that he's going off with the Icelandic under-21s, which might be just a nice little break for him, really. And he'll come back hopefully refreshed and ready to score a few more goals between now and the end of the season.
Yeah. So first half was pretty even, to be fair. Pretty even on the ball possession, 53-47. They had 6 shots. We had 3 shots, but none of them were on target. Obviously, we had some that was a big chance for Benno, but we ended up going in 0-0, and it was another massive tick for the 2 youngsters in the central defence, Hills and Pye. Once again, they're showing why Dave is not rushing Horsfall back in. They're showing why Connolly's not being put back in, because they're great, really good.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, and for the age of them, they're fantastic. I know a lot of county fans are going to say, "Oh, we should go and sign Brad Hills," and it's like, yeah, we've got no chance. We've got about as much chance as signing Louis Barry. Let's be absolutely honest, because Norwich rate Brad Hills really, really high, and it's down to the fact, that they've seen what we've done with loan players like Louis Barry. That the reason why they've trusted us to send him to us for the rest of the season, and like you say, Challen has talked about players taking opportunities. Well, that is your perfect example of a player that's come into the team. He's took his opportunity, and now you would have to say he's probably one of the first names on that team sheet. And good luck to him. And it's brilliant to see a defender that doesn't back out of 50-50s. Wants to fight for the cause, rolls his sleeves up, gets into a scrap, doesn't shy away. And then when you say he's 20 years old, you're like, you're laughing. Like I say, we'd be happy if we had a 30-year-old defender that would have all them qualities that he's got. And then when you say he's 20 years old, you think, well, this lad's got a real bright future ahead of him.
And he's part of the England under-20 setup as well. I believe he turned down a call-up this week. So interesting one, isn't it? So Benno's gone, or it's been confirmed to be going to the Iceland under-21s. Obviously, Hills was called up, but he's turned it down. And then Torre, I believe, turned down a call-up as well. So I guess as a club, we thought, no, we want to get this game played now rather than, we could have played it without those 3 players, or we could have, I guess, got the game called off and played some Tuesday night in April?
The rules regarding under 21 players is quite different to normal full internationals, isn't it? So I'm not sure how it would have worked. But yeah, like you say, but it's encouraging. It's no disrespect to obviously Anderson, but yeah, when you hear the other two that they've decided they want to stay and keep their shirt and fight for their spot, because the same again, they know that if they give their shirt up, they may not get it back. Somebody might take that spot, and they might be out the team for 4 or 5 weeks. So. It's good to see, and like you say, and Anderson's made the decision to go to Iceland under 21s. I don't blame him, because same again, he's away from home. It might just be an opportunity to get home for a few days as well, and tick some boxes and stuff like that. So I'm hoping he comes back really refreshed and really ready to sort of score some goals.
Great opportunity for him to go home and just visit family or see mates or what have you. A little bit different for the other two boys, obviously, because they're already from this country anyway. Or they're living here, put it that way. Okay, so should we move on to Kyle Noyle? Obviously, we touched on him coming in for Macca, Steve, and he picked up an early yellow card, probably in the first 10 minutes. Yeah. Deserved?
I would say so, yeah. He seemed to just take the guy out. I thought it was definitely a yellow card, yeah.
And he was matched up against a tricky winger as well, wasn't he?
Yeah. I mean, he had his work cut out, Dan. I mean, he played okay, but it was a definite yellow, and it was a ticking time bomb from that moment forward.
Yeah. So the big talking point, should it have been a second yellow, Dan? So just before half-time.
Yeah, definitely. Let's be absolutely honest. It should have been a second yellow. If he wasn't already on a yellow card, he would have got booked. It's one of them cliches that we all talk about. It's not a case of it's being an orange card. It was a definite yellow card. Like when you book someone for time wasting and then allow them to carry on doing the same thing. That yellow card for me, what should have been late on in the first half, was probably worse than what he actually got booked for. Both were clear yellow cards. Yes, we got away with it, but it's about time we had a little bit of luck off referees and a little bit of leniency going our way on stuff. So, yeah, it should have been a second yellow. He should have been off, but it wasn't, and we hooked him off ourselves at half-time and, didn't allow the referee to sort of correct his error as such.
Yeah, the discussions around me were definitely, is Noyle going to come off? But interestingly, we didn't have an obvious right back on the bench, did we? So we sort of shuffled the pack a little bit, didn't we? I think Toure came on left back for Rydell, who hadn't had one of his greatest games. His crossing wasn't particularly good, and when that's not on point, it's questionable how much use he is to the team. When we know that his defensive ability is not quite as good as Toure's. And so we shuffled the pack a little bit, didn't we? Steve, can you remind me who came on? Or am I putting you on the spot there?
At half time, so it was Connolly.
Connolly and Toure. Yeah, Connolly and Toure, you're right.
And Wootton.
And Wootton.
Yeah, it's a triple sub again.
Yeah,
Which I think we're all expecting one sub, weren't we, at half-time, that Noyle wouldn't be coming back out, but I don't think anyone would have said he'll make a triple-header substitution at half-time. I was expecting Anderson to come off 60, 65 minutes, to be honest. I say that one surprised me. Like I say, Ibby coming on for Rydell. Like you say, his radar for his crossing was well out. And like you say, if he's not offering that outlet going forward, then Toure is definitely the better defender out of the two.
Mm-hmm. Think the changes made much of a difference, guys?
Yeah, I think it made a massive difference, to be honest, to us. I think it really sort of shored everything up. They had a big influence in the game. We just looked a little bit more solid, I think, as well, and a little bit more of a base to build up from. We got with Connolly in the back and Toure in the back, and like I say, just a different threat then up front with Wotton as well. Tanto was still doing all the running, and he was popping up everywhere, weren't he? On the left, in the middle, on the right hand side, he was a complete wasp to them, and he was a nuisance. And in all fairness, he's been like that for the last probably half a dozen games. I think Tanto, he has been an absolute threat and nuisance to defenders, and when we talk about it, how many times after the game we see opposition fans saying, "I'd love to have your number 9," or "Your number 9 was outstanding today. He's probably one of the best we've seen in this division." Well, he's proven it, and long lasted, to be honest.
Absolutely irreplaceable when he's on that sort of form, isn't he, Steve?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, he was fantastic yesterday. But just kind of going back to the substitutions, though, I felt what it allowed us to do was change the formation back to what I kind of expected. We went to a 3 at the back and played wing backs, and I think that made a big difference in the second half. I thought we were a lot more competitive in the second half, whereas the first half I felt like they were coming onto us a lot down the channels. Yeah. And it felt a little, particularly the first 15 minutes of the game, it felt a bit kind of relentless. We were just constantly defending, and Pye and Hills were doing a fantastic job. But second half, I just felt it just looked more settled and allowed us to play more, I thought.
It was definitely one of them games where formations changed a lot. I mean, I think Bolton started up with a back 4. And then they changed to a back 3 after about 20 minutes, and they started getting a lot more momentum in the game and a lot more possession in the game. After then we, like you say, at half time with that change, we went into a back 3 to match them up. They then switched back to a back 4. So it was one of them games where it was a little bit like a chess match on the tactical side of it, with the formation changing a lot throughout the 90 minutes.
And if you go on stats only, they absolutely hammered us second half. There's 69% possession. They had a ton of passes, nearly 300, too shy of 300 passes to our 132. They created 10 shots, 3 on target. We had 4 shots, 3 on target. So let's talk about the first one of those shots that we had. So Carl Wotton got played in, left foot shot straight at the keeper. Steve, do you think he should do better there, or did the keeper close the angles down well?
I mean, the keeper did close the angles down. I mean, the whole move was superb again with Tanto playing that ball. The way he moved forward and played that pass to Watts was fantastic. I just felt, although the keeper did close the angle down, he could put a bit more venom in the shot. If you're going to hit it, let's hit it a bit quicker, a bit harder. Or if you're not going to do that, maybe take a touch. He might have had time to then, take a touch and hit it with his right into the other corner. But again, it was another one of those kind of sort of half chances, wasn't it? It was a good chance, but it was still a hard chance.
Yeah, he had an identical chance, I thought, really, like at Northampton in midweek, didn't he? The same pitch, same area of the pitch, same sort of angle, same sort of shot, really. Yeah, like I say, there's nothing more than you'd want to see that ball go past the goalkeeper into the back of the net, is there, when Wotton gets through. It just unfortunately didn't. But yeah, we huffed and puffed a little bit, didn't we? And like I say, we thought it might have been another, especially me watching it, thought this might have like another sort of 0-0 written all over it, and it just sort of felt that sort of game. Yeah. And it just needed that, and it just needed that bit of quality that we didn't show against Charlton. And like you say, Tanto brought the quality to the party.
Should we just talk about the subs just before that amazing goal? So Dave rolled the dice again, final roll of the dice. So he'd already made 3 subs and he brought 2 more on. So Fevs came on, Moxon came on, and they came on for Norwood and Camps. I like Fevrier. I think he's just got something. I mean, his first touch was a His first touch was a little roll of the ball, and the second touch was a shot that the keeper did well to sort of fly across to his right hand side to sort of turn around the post. He's just got something about him that when he gets the ball, you just think something can happen. He's a dribbler, but he's strong. He can shoot. He loves cutting inside on his left foot. There is no way that guy is a wing back. I know we bought him because I think he played wing back a lot for Colchester, I think it was.
Yeah.
There's no way that guy's a wing back. He is a forward player on probably our right hand side, cutting in on his left foot and shooting.
He gets you off your seat. He's a player that excites you. You want him to see him on the ball. You want him to see him running at defenders. He excites you, and like I say, it's wait to see if he's going to be, a Kevin Cooper or an Ollie Crankshaw. To be honest, isn't it? That's what we hope he's going to be, more Kevin Cooper than Crankshaw. But time will tell, I suppose, and hopefully, we get a run of being fit and being involved between now and the end of the season, and he can have a good pre-season and really hit the ground running next season. But yeah, for me, I always like players that get you off your bum and make you excited, and when you want them to get on the ball and they run at the opposition, and he's definitely one for that.
Kudos to Moxon as well, Steve. I think he added a bit of bite into that midfield.
He did, and I really like Owen Moxon, to be honest. I think every game he plays, he looks a little bit better. And I think I don't think he's played a lot of games this season. I could be wrong. And I think that's noticeable in the early kind of appearances for us. He's looked a little bit rusty. But with every game he plays, he gets a bit stronger, he gets a bit more settled, and he's really looking the part. And when he came on, I thought he was excellent yesterday. I mean, those two subs for me, the three subs at half-time, I thought set us in the right trajectory. But those two subs, I think that helped win us the game, basically.
Yeah, 100%. But it was looking a bit Wigan-esque at the time, 0-0 going into, the 70th minute. Yeah. And then Tanto, I mean, ball down the wing from Toure to him, and he had absolutely no right to do what he did. He nutmegs the defender, the first defender, keeps running, cuts in on his right foot, makes some space for himself, and just smashes the ball past the keeper. Keeper had no chance with it. And I'm going to say, for me, being there as well, that felt goal of the season vibes to me. It was similar to Barry at Blackpool, but I'm going to give it Tanto just because, yeah, it was a massive 3 points as well.
Yeah, I mean, it was one of them opportunities. For me, there was something going to come from it, because even if he didn't get shot away, you felt that if anybody touched him in that 18-yard box, he was going down, penalty, because he was being positive, direct, like you say, little touch, little sort of jink to get past the last defender. And like you say, he's then, I don't know, is he drilled it, passed it, placed it? It was such a tidy, accurate shot that it was spot on. And like I said, we've said it before, that times Tanto's better as an instinctive forward where he doesn't have time to think. Well, he's had plenty of time to think for that goal, because he's literally run from nearly the halfway line. So yeah, no, I thought probably a big goal for Tanto, an important time of the season. He's like I say, he's shown that for the last sort of 6-7 games for me, and like you say, he deserved that goal, and he deserved to score the winning goal as well.
We then struggled a little bit, I think, for the last sort of 20 minutes of the game. Very much playing on the break, dropped pretty deep in the last 10 minutes. And Corey, whilst Tanto scored the winning goal, I think Corey's contribution to the last sort of 10-15 minutes was crucial to win us the 3 points, Steve.
Yeah, I mean, I thought he had a good game all around, to be honest. I thought the entire day, I thought his kicking was good. He looked like he was coming out more for crosses. Still scared me a bit in the first half when he was taking on two players and the three yards out. But last 15 minutes, he made a couple of crucial saves. One was quite a tame shot that he just kind of caught, and then there was the one from McAtee, I think, when he kind of tipped it over the bar, and then just coming out for the crosses, he looked a presence, and I thought he was great yesterday. I thought he was really, really great. I was really pleased with him.
I think the second biggest cheer that we heard sort of behind the Tanto goal was when he claimed a corner in the last minute of injury time. He just came through a whole body of players and just plucked it out of the air. And I'm thinking,
and then lay on the floor.
Yeah. But that's what we want to see from him. And I've said it before. If he does it and he makes a mistake, and because you will make a mistake at some point trying to do that. But if he doesn't make a mistake, I'd rather he do that than just stay fixed on his line. And thankfully, in that moment, that sort of saw the game out. Few bits and bobs on socials, Dan. Bolton were pretty sore losers. Reckon we were too physical. We only got 4 yellow cards, but I felt they were powder puff. They just kept on falling over.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you guys do the same, but I always look at their team and think, which players would you take out of their team and put in ours? And I wouldn't take any of them. Apart from their goalkeeper, which I thought was their best player. You've got players on their team, which I can't remember what his name is now. Played
Morley.
No, Morley was the lad that was at Wickham when they pulled out Rendell that was at Peterborough and they paid £1 million for. And I think to myself, do you know what I mean? How can you pay £1 million player for a player that bad? I thought there was nobody, even McAtee. I know McAtee's got a bit of a reputation, ex-Man City. Obviously, did us a little bit when he was at Grimsby, but same again. I don't think he wouldn't get in our team. I don't think. So yeah, I sort of looked at you might argue the tricky winger that Geordie Osai Tutu, I think it was the one that was sort of like that had Carl Noyle on toast a few times. But yeah, I just sort of looked at their team and thought to myself, man for man, I just didn't really sort of rate them and didn't think they were that. And like you say, a lot of salty comments, from Bolton fans that they've been beaten by a club like Stockport, and get with it, get with the program. Because if we meet in the playoffs again, I'll be quite comfortable thinking that we'll do them over 2 legs or a final at Wembley.
I'd be amazed if they make the playoffs, but we'll see, I guess. Again, I would love to play them again. I thought the stadium was great. I've been to the stadium, probably 15 years ago. I didn't go to the FA Cup game when obviously we took 5,000. But yeah, I went ages and ages ago when we were in the same division as them, 15, 20 years ago. But I hadn't remembered how good the stadium actually is, just the whole facilities around it and the hotel and all that sort of stuff. But I've got my fingers crossed. If we do end up being in the playoffs, I want one of the teams that's going to give us a really big away allocation.
Yeah.
We can get as many fans in there as we can. If it's Wrexham and you get given 1,100 tickets, that'll be shit.
To be honest, we all know the situation with the ticketing. They could have given us more tickets if they wanted to. It's quite clear there was plenty of opportunity and empty seats there for more county fans to take up. Obviously, Bolton don't need the money. When they're tossing away £1 million on basically non-league players and, have to take sponsorship to have their stadium called after a bunch of toilet paper, this obviously they don't need the money. So that's fair enough. But what an absolute, watching it on the stream, all you could hear is county fans. And this was Sky Sports stream, so it was not a biased stream or audio. All you could do is hear county fans. That place, all you could see when the camera panned around, even when it was 0-0, was miserable Bolton fans. They absolutely looked miserable. that's enough said, you know. But hey, we're only little old Stockport, so.
Can I just give some cute? Okay, so you've absolutely slagged the fans off there, Dan. That's fine. Looking bored, but I'm going to give some positive notes to the ball boys, okay? Because I thought they were like Premier League level ball boys. They were quick off their little seats, grabbing the balls and throwing it back in. That's brilliant, and they should be held as the pinnacle of ball boydom, in my opinion.
Yeah, they were superb, weren't they? They were really good. And for both teams as well, it wasn't even like they were biased towards their own team. They were just, any ball went out the pitch, there was a new one there ready to go straight away. I thought they were really good. Really good.
And I'm going to say it, they're better than ours. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So well done, Bolton. We may have got 6 points from you this season, but your ball boys are better than ours. So swings and roundabouts, I guess.
What about the pies? Did you manage to get a pie at Bolton?
No, we went to Five Guys. So making use of the retail park. So I obviously went with Chloe and we were like, Nando's not got time. McDonald's probably going to be really busy. Let's go Five Guys. So we had like little burgers each. Still costed like basically as much as my mortgage, but it was still lovely. So there we go. Because very expensive. And I bumped into a mate as well who was going to the game, a Bolton resident, but not a Bolton fan. He was there with his 2 kids, and I got him to send me some photos from. So he was like right next to like the left-hand side of the stand. I used my phone to sort of zoom in on him, and I managed to get a nice little photo of him and said, "Don't pick your nose, mate. I can see what you're doing." But yeah, he's not a Bolton fan, but he sort of lives in the borough, so that was nice to bump into him. Not seen him for a while.
I assume Usain Bolt was there as well. I don't know because he was at Carrington, wasn't he? Got a picture of him at Carrington the other day, but he's best mates with Ricardo Gardner. And Ricardo Gardner was definitely there yesterday, so I assume they were both there watching the game.
Okay, well, if you're going to start talking about names, I'm going to drop a name. Will Collar's dad. I had a chat with him after the game. Who's more famous, Will Collar's dad?
Well, absolutely, Will Collar's dad.
Yeah, exactly. Nice.
I don't know. Let's have a race. Let's solve this argument out. Let's get Will Collar's dad and Usain Bolt and we'll have a race.
Have you seen Usain Bolt recently, Dan? He's a bit porky, I think, from photos that I'd seen. He's eating too many Five Guys.
Will Collar's dad would be hoping he's a bit porky, to be honest.
and also I bumped into a fan as well called Zoe. I said that I'd give her a shout out, so she said hello and said she loves the Courtyard Club call. So it was nice to have a chat with you as well, Zoe.
Well,
if anybody bumps into any of us, pardon?
You managed to find that one fan. Well done, Jimmy.
That one fan that watches us. Exactly. Yeah. But anyone who bumps into us, please say hello. We don't bite.
Yeah, and especially with the guys on the Wednesday show, Russ and Waggy, they love a hug. They are huggers. Go and find them. They're usually in the courtyard. Go over and give them a hug. They will love it.
Andy is the hugger. Let's face it.
Well, the problem is with Andy, he doesn't put his pint down, does he? That's he's always got a pint in his hand, so he doesn't like hugging. He might give you a fist bump, but yeah, Russ and Waggy, they're definitely huggers.
Yeah, nice one. Okay, so that sort of takes us through to the end of the game. 1-0, 3 points, 6-pointer, Russ, 6-pointer. And should we move on to man of the match? Go on, Steve. Who was your man of the match?
Some great performances at the back, but Tanto nailed on for me. I thought it was phenomenal.
Same again. Tanto, Corey was better. Brad Hills. And to be honest, Brad Hills and Ethan Parr, you'd have to give the man of the match as a pairing for them too soon.
Yeah.
One doesn't come without the other. Corey Addai always seems to have a better game away from home, like he did when he come on Wigan. But yeah, Tanto, same again. Just even if he didn't score that goal and he's teed it up and somebody else scored it, just the work rate that he offers and does for the team. Same again, if he carries on playing like that for the rest of the season, he will be a player that will be on a lot of teams' radars, I think, in the summer.
I think he had all his mates watching him as well. I remember them when we had the last game of the season, everyone was on the pitch and all the players with the families and friends were on the pitch. his group of mates that were there that last day were in the ground watching it. There were about 6 people to the right of us, and they were just absolutely loving every minute of it. And they were filming it when he scored the goal. And just one thing, I know we're talking about man of the match, but 10 out of 10 for the knee slide onto the camera. I thought it was a fantastic knee slide, as far as knee slides go. But yeah, he was awesome.
The thing with a knee slide is that if they go wrong, you look stupid. So it's a high risk celebration, I think, in a knee slide.
But it was, I don't know about you guys, but I definitely picked it up in the first half at least. There was a lot of, sliding and slipping on the pitch. I know John Kieran mentioned that they watered it quite heavily before the game, but there was quite a few players that sort of slipping and sliding. So I think, it's one of them games that someone who was definitely, if they scored, was definitely going to get a knee slide in, because did seem a bit of a slippy pitch.
Yeah. Just want to say something about Fevrier as well. So I've talked about how great I think he is as a forward player, but I notice this all the time, that he is such a team player, and he seems to be somebody that loves other players doing well. So like at the end of the game, we were all chanting "Tanto's on fire," and Tanto's looking a little bit like embarrassed, I guess. And Fez was behind him, like almost like pushing him towards the fans, saying, go on, you take the adulation, you take it." And he's sort of giving him a big hug and stuff. And he's always got a lovely smile on his face for other people that have done well. And I think that's just brilliant. I love that.
Yeah, definitely. Like I say, we just want him to be involved now. But like I said before, I think he will score a big goal at some point between now and the end of the season for us. He nearly did it on Saturday. Like you say, that turning shot that he had from just outside the edge of the box was a really good save by the goalkeeper. But yeah, like I said, I like him. I think he's exciting.
Tell you what, as well, if you look at the bench and the players, that weren't on the bench at the weekend, it's starting to become really difficult for Dave. I've obviously got Nick Powell is back soon-ish. Obviously, Fraser's back soon-ish. Odin Bailey not on the bench. I don't believe.
Diamond.
Sorry,
Jack Diamond.
Jack Diamond not on the bench as well.
Yeah.
Nick Hamilton seems to have disappeared a little bit. So it's a tough old decision for him, but one that I'm sure he enjoys having. So should we just move on to the table, because I'm just fascinated by this. So ignore Birmingham. So Wrexham went and beat Wickham.
There was obviously a stoppage in that game. I don't know if you guys were aware of that.
Yeah,
the long stoppage. There was a Wrexham fan that was quite ill and had to be taken away by an ambulance. I believe he's okay now, but there was a long stoppage around about the 70th minute, I think, for about 15-20 minutes.
Yeah, so I mean, it's great that the fan is okay, but that does put Wrexham potentially in pole position, although Wickham have got a game in hand on them. So Wrexham are on 71 in second, Wickham are on 68 in third, but they played a game less, and they've got to play that game against somebody in the bottom half of the table. There's a few teams there who've only played 36 games. Charlton continue to do well. They had a decent win at the weekend, so they're still ahead of us, 66 points. Little old Stockport County, 65. So there's a 4-point gap between us and Huddersfield, and then you got Bolton and Reading and Leyton Orient behind them. So and
that Wickham game in hand is played on Tuesday night against Rotherham. Yeah. So by the time we play again on Saturday, they could be second, with Wrexham being third. So like I say, it puts a lot of weight back onto Saturday's game.
Yeah. I mean, it's huge. It's absolutely huge. If we lose that, autos are probably autos will be out. But if we lose it, playoffs are still very, very much within our grasp, because we've got a few easy. No games are easy at this time of the season, I guess. And Dave did allude to that in one of his recent interviews, saying that everyone's playing something.
Me personally, I think regardless if we win, lose, or draw at Wrexham on Saturday, it's the 7 days after that the clincher, or the real important. We've got Burton, Stevenage on the Tuesday, and then away at Exeter. So you've got 7 days there, 3 games that really could define our season, because after you've got them out, what we got 4 games left of the season after that. Yeah, so that's 7 days for me after the Wrexham game, regardless if we win, lose or draw, because I don't think that one game will define our season too much. But if we can get 9 points out of them 3 games straight after it, then it's going to be an exciting running.
Indeed. So unless we've got anything else to talk about, guys, on the Bolton game, I think it's probably time to say goodbye.
Yeah. No, I think that's done. Same again. We've said it before. Nice to do a double header against a team in the season. We played them twice, beat them twice. Out of all the games that we've got left, there is still 4 teams that could do the double over us. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if we can go the whole season without anybody actually doing the double, home and away, beating us. So yeah, it's an exciting time.
Didn't Birmingham do the double over us, Dan?
No, because we drew at Birmingham at home. So the only teams that can do the double over us are Huddersfield, Lincoln, Stevenage, and Wickham. Are the only 4 teams that all season that could beat us home and away. And I don't even know when the last time we went through a season where nobody actually beat us home and away. We normally end up losing to Grimsby or Mansfield home and away during a season. But these out of the games we've got left, these 4 teams that have taken the points off us so far. So yeah, it's interesting.
Just very quickly, the thing that I find interesting about how we're doing this season is the lack of chat about injuries. Obviously, last season we were crippled by injuries, and we did well to finish where we did with the injuries that we had. But this season, there's been no super key players that have been injured that haven't then been replaced by someone as good, I would say. I wonder what the secret to that is.
Depth of squad. I think this time we've got a more deeper squad that we could go into and thing. I think we have had big players out at times.
We can manage minutes, I guess, can't we? And we can manage them coming back. Whereas last season you were reliant on, like Collar at Wembley, for example. Not last season. Last season.
Yeah.
2 seasons ago. That's the one that I'm thinking of when we were struggling for our midfield, weren't we? Camps was struggling for fitness. Collar was obviously, and we threw him back in a little bit too early. But yeah, you're right. I think it's probably depth of squad, isn't it?
Yeah.
Has that got something to do with the fact we've got younger players as well? So you can have more players registered. I'm not quite sure how that works, but isn't it? If you've got younger players, you can have a bigger squad. Is that right?
Yeah, if they're classed as under 21, I think they don't count as your part of your 25 squad.
Yeah,
or something like that. So a younger squad, but I think just a deeper squad, a little bit of luck, maybe they've seen something about last season about maybe rushing players back. We know that Challen has been very reluctant to chuck players back straight into the deep end. So we don't know. Obviously, it'll be an interesting chat with Dave Challoner about that at some point of how he compares the injuries last season to compare to this season. But yeah, like I say, everybody's learning. Challoner's always learning, as he's always saying. We learn as a club, we learn as a team on and off the field. So, hope it continues.
And on that note, we will say goodbye. Cheers, guys. Cheers, Steve. Cheers,
Dan.
See you later.
And that's a wrap for this episode of the Scarf Bagara War. We hope you enjoyed the podcast. Remember, you can catch us every week on your favourite podcast platform, whether it's Spotify, Apple Podcasts or Google Podcasts. And a huge thank you to all of our Patreon members. Your contributions help keep the show running to bring the content you love. If you'd like to support the podcast and get access to exclusive special guest episodes, ad-free podcasts and a monthly giveaway, head over to patreon.com/the Scarf Bagara War. And don't forget to follow us on social media for updates, behind the scenes content and more. You can find us on X, Facebook and Instagram Instagram, all at County Podcast. Lastly, if you enjoyed the show, please leave us a review and share it with your fellow county fans. Your feedback helps us improve and reach more listeners. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time on the Scarf Bagara War. Come on, County!